Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how I restored this vintage messenger bag where you can see the handle is completely broken off of the top. Here it is, so I'm going to make a new handle there. The shoulder strap needs a little bit of rejuvenation, and as you can see the bottom is filthy, it's got some chewing gum marks on, the side pocket is broken, and there is rips up at the top there, and the whole thing is very dirty, 30 years of dirt accumulated on it, and you can see how it's creased at the bottom from all the heavy things being put in it. So I'm going to take you through what I've done. So first of all, I'm going to take off the front buckle, which proved quite tricky, but eventually I managed to remove it. Then I took off the top tabs for the handle with the nose pliers. As you can see, the rivets were pretty hard to remove, but again, got there eventually. So you can see these are quite worn, and I'm going to make new ones of these using them as a template. And I just removed all the loose threads, and I'm going to go over some of these bits with new stitching. So next was to give the whole bag a good clean, just with some soapy water and a sponge. I used the abrasive side of the sponge just to try and get into the dirt, but used it very gently in a circular motion. Again, there was 30 years worth of build-up of dirt and grime, particularly in the creases, so it needed a really good clean up. So I'm just working my way around, trying to get as much dirt off as possible, and then worked into these sort of chewing gum stains, I think they were. Again, just scraping off as much as I could without really damaging the leather. And then I gave the shoulder strap a good clean. Next, I took the old handle tabs and used them and marked around on some card to create a template from which to make new ones. So I just folded it and copied it to get a symmetrical piece. Like so. And then on some vachetta or nude veg tan leather, I marked around the template to create my new handle tab. As you can see here, and then cut that out carefully with a scalpel, and here are the two that I made. So just buffing up the edges to smooth down any rough edges there, and then I measured and marked out the handle. So here, using a strap cutter to get the strip completely parallel, and there it is. So I undid the handle to get the exact shape and size, and obviously to take off the D-rings because I've reused those. And here I'm using an edge beveler to take off the sharp corners, so doing this on all four sides, and that just makes the handle and the leather much nicer to hold. Then I took some antiquing gel. I use this one a lot to make straps look antiqued and nice, give them a nice brown aged look. So I rub it on with an old cloth, just a little dab at a time. So you see it's like a gel, a thick paint, and you just rub it on to the leather. Wearing some latex gloves just to stop my hands staining, but it does wash off your hands. I just put one layer on, but you can build up the layers to make it darker, but over time it will go darker anyway. And there you have it, the strap and the side tabs ready stained to go on, like so. Then I needed to do the same with the front buckle tab, as you can see here. So again, I used the old one as a template. I used the end of this old belt that I had, which was perfect colour, and it just fitted on nicely. So again, I drew around that and then cut that out with a scalpel. So here's the new one, as you can see. And then I put a hole in the middle for the buckle prong, and this will be glued together. And I was able to also make a little keeper loop with part of the belt. Like so. So then I placed the buckle in the middle and added some glue. I use Evo-Stik contact adhesive, so it needs to go on both surfaces that are in contact. So you apply it on, nice thin layer on each surface, and leave it for a few seconds to go tacky before folding them together. Like this, and then leave it to dry. And then I did the same thing with the handle. So I marked out the position of the D-rings, put them in place like so, and then added the glue. So I've marked out where they meet in the centre. And then folded that over. Then I stitched that with some white thread to go with the existing bag thread, like so. And then carefully attached the side tabs and glued those together in the same way. There we go, on each end like so. Making sure the sides match up and stitch those together. And then I'm going to rivet them into the holes, existing holes on the lid, as you can see here. So before doing that, I needed to remove the old thread from the strap and restitch the base where it had come undone. This was quite fiddly because I'm working through the bottom of the bag, but managed to get that done. And then it was time to move on to the corners of the pocket here. Again, quite fiddly. So next it was time to move on to the other damage. So I needed to put a new strip in the side of this pocket because it was so worn. So I glued on this panel before stitching it in place. As you can see, clips holding the glue while it dried, and then these top corners here I needed to reinforce as well. Bottom corners again worn through, so they needed re-gluing and restitching. And as you can see, I've now restitched the strap and the corners, so they're back together, and I've restitched the side pockets, and there's that new panel in place as well. So it's all one piece again, and here I stitched and put rivets in the top to give it a bit more strength because that is a well-worn area of the bag. Then I added some tragacanth gum onto the edges to give it a nice polished edge. So I went round the whole bag doing that to give it a nice finish. So going around the whole thing, and it helps feed the leather as well. So I took some saddle soap and went over the whole thing, giving that a good polish and wax. So the oils in the saddle soap help rejuvenate the leather. So I went over the strap as well. And then I riveted the front buckle back in place. So that was quite fiddly, getting the rivets on and getting it under my machine, but I managed to get it done. And there we have it. So finished and restored with a new handle on top. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been informative. If you have any questions, please do get in touch. So here are a few before and after pics so you can see the difference. And the customer was very happy with the results.